Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. I had the best, most, like advanced dreaming I think I've ever had at this point. And that's saying a lot because I've been working on this for a year now, nearly daily. Wow. Ah, and I've been working on it very hard for the last couple of days, really doing my dream checks, um, making sure I get good nutrition, making sure I get extra sleep, drinking extra water before I go to bed, and all the things. This morning or last night, whenever I had this dream, um, it was, I'm a little bit speechless. I wish that I would have recorded it as soon as I woke up from this dream because, of course, the intenseness has faded, and this dream was so intense, even though I always know better. I figured that the amount of intenseness would not fade from this one because it was that intense. So I was, there's this person that I met a couple years ago, and I really connected with them, and they really have a place in my heart. And this was about seeing them and meeting their parents, even though this person is much, much older than I am. I think, I actually don't know how old they are. Anyway, so it's set out in this, it's way out in the middle of seemingly nowhere in this beautiful, picturesque, like picture perfect farmhouse with this really manicured lawn and this like turn of the century farmhouse that had all of that decorative wood trim that you see on some fancy turn of the century houses. And there was a tractor out in the lawn just for decoration, and like I said, the lawn was perfect. So my friend is there, and I feel such intense love for this person, and I am super happy to see them. Super, super, super happy. And I am lucid, fully lucid during the entirety of this dream. I have never been so lucid in a dream before, or for this long. It was surprising and incredible, and most of it was just kind of mundane talking, meeting their parents, and I wanted to have a physical connection with this person, and much of the first part of the dream was just us cuddling and just talking and having a deep friendship, and that was so nice. I would have been happy if that was all the dream was, and I wanted that to be just the dream, but the dream went on because other characters in the dream were interacting with us. So like I'd go up and down the stairs and get a tour of the house, but the longer this dream goes on, the more things deteriorate and things start to rot. At one point, we're going up the stairs, and I notice the wallpaper is peeling, and the paint on the stair rail is chipping off. And when I first entered this house in this dream, it was brand new, very well kept up, and whatnot. And I come up into the room, and it's starting to get more dreamlike, and I'm like, that's really interesting. This is strange, but I'm still maintaining my full lucidity. And I'm gonna spare you all of the dream details that might be boring to you. So I'll just kind of like condense this into a nutshell. And so at one point we go into, the mother is going to show me her hobby room, and then the father shows me his hobby room next. Her hobby room it's got like crafts, a sewing machine, and it's got an old dresser, and the mirror is broken, and then collaged very tightly all around the broken glass and the frame of it are all these little toy doll heads of various characters and materials. And that's really when I'm like, this dream might be starting to get a little bit strange. And, sorry, someone was calling me. And I just keep that in the back of my head, trying to be cautious, thinking, whoa, things might be starting to get strange, be careful. So then I go and see the dad's room. He's got this hobby train track, and they're like, I heard you like Garfield. I fucking love Garfield. And he shows me his old Garfield collection. And although I was really happy to see it, I was still like, that's really out of these dream characters' narrative, or what I would assume would be their narrative, because of the person whom this dream is about, my friend. It just didn't fit right. It felt like their mom and dad was kind of like tapping into my psyche and trying to get to me, trying to gain my trust or my attention or something. And then at some point, the mom and dad leave me and my friend alone, because we're like, we want to be alone together. We want to cuddle and just have like a platonic good time, which, I mean, just like cuddling platonically and just being friends. But I'm lucid, and I know I'm dreaming, so I'm like, I can play with this situation, and I can turn this into more of a sexual dream, which is interesting because I am not sexually attracted to my friend, but I do very much love them. So anyway, in this dream, I decided to take it there. And so we're alone in this room. And then, I laid down on this chase lounge thing. And I'm like, yay, let's cuddle and possibly do more. And when I look at them, they are wearing a wedding dress, which is very strange. Very, very strange indeed. And I look down, and I am dressed as a bridegroom. Really weird. Got a tux, and they've got a wedding dress on, which is really funny because they're quite tall and much too large to look like they belong in a dress. Veil and everything, and the sleeves like came up to here, and it was the dress hem was like mid shin. It was really funny, and I'm like, okay, I can work with this. That's fine. And I was kind of talking to this dream world. You're still not gonna like knock me out of lucidity or freak me out. I got this. I'm totally calm. You're not shaking me this easy. So then I opened my arms wide, and I'm like, come on, come into my arms. And they're in my arms, and they're in between my legs. We're both fully dressed, and feelings of sexual arousal start coming up. And then I look at them again, and all of a sudden they are this corpse bride with this gray, blue, shriveled, burnt flesh, and skeleton face and skeleton nose and long black hair. And I was like, whoa, you look terrifying and scary. I still love you, though. My dream is getting weird, so I think I might leave now. And this character that is no longer my friend just kind of like falls over to the floor. Meanwhile, their parents are trying to get an emotional rise out of me. I have this kind of woo-woo out there theory that there are some dream entities. Yes, that's right. I said entities in dreams that come specifically to get a rise out of you because they feed off of your emotional reactions. And the easiest way to get the most intense reaction out of a person is what? Anger. You guessed it. It's a lot harder to get someone to feel genuine happiness or genuine love, or even get them to have a genuine laugh, right? It's so much easier to piss somebody off or to scare them. And that's what these dream entities do. I call them inorganic beings because they're not organic. They are either figments of my imagination or they're some entity that is not of organic material from a different world. So these inorganic beings come and try to work with this corpse bride of theirs to get a rise out of me, and I'm not having it. I'm fully and completely lucid, but at the same time, I'm not in a mood to fight with them. There are some times where this happens and I'm really riled up and I'm ready for a fight. I'm like, oh yeah, you want to play like that? Well, fucking bring it. I'll rip your jaw open and piss down your throat. And it's like, let's go. I'm having fun too. But that wasn't this time. I was so filled with love and so on that love and friendship track that I just wanted beauty and love and connection. And before I went to sleep in real waking life, I realized that there's a type of dream that I would often have and often induce in lucidity that I hadn't had in a really long time. I'm talking 6+ months. And that kind of dream is where I would climb to a high point, and I'm not super fond of heights, and I hate that tummy drop feeling that one would get on a roller coaster. I hate that feeling. I sometimes experience even just driving in when you go quickly down a hill. I really don't like it. But I've been trying to train myself in dreams to be okay with it. And it's going better, and I'm more aware that I'm not going to die, and it's okay to jump off of a building, even though I'm going to get that warning you're going to die feeling in the pit of my stomach. I'm not going to die because it's a dream and I'm lucid. So I decide, oh yeah, just before I was going to sleep, this was me thinking in my dream, that I wanted to do one of those beautiful scenic dreams. So in these dreams, I would climb to a high height and I would soar down. And the point was to find the most beautiful landscape scenery I could possibly find and fly over it and just enjoy it. I went and saw Maleficent last night in real waking life, and the scenery in that dream reminded me very much of these dreams. And so I decided while I was watching that movie in the movie theater, I'm going to attempt to soak this into my brain and bring it into my dreams tonight. And it worked. I calmly and politely excused myself from these dream entities, and I was just like very casually and in control, like, I am leaving. Don't bother following me. I've decided what I'm going to do. Don't pursue me. So I leave and I go to their kitchen window and I decide, okay, I'm locked in this house, but again, it's a dream. I'm lucid. I have control of everything. And I very calmly opened the window, and it actually opened where it wouldn't open a second before. And then I have the inorganic beings, dream entity, weird people coming after me. They're coming down the stairs. And this is supposed to frighten me out of lucidity and frighten me into fumbling with the window and thinking I can't do it in time. But I was calm, and I thought, I can do this in time, and even if they touch me, I can either wake up or change it. I am in control. And I am still working on being able to make things appear in my hand, or be able to light a candle by blowing on the wick, or what have you, like full magical dream control. So I kept that in mind, and I thought to myself, you've come a long way with controlling your lucid dreams, and I know you're not 100% where you want to be, but you've come a long way and you have a lot of control, so just focus on that. And I did. So the screen on the window, I carefully unclipped it and I threw it away, and there was another one, and I was like, don't fret, don't get stressed out, because that's what will knock you out of control. And so I said to my thoughts, you are very right about that. Maintain your calmness. So that I did, and I picked out the other screen, and then there was one last screen, and I thought, that's fine. I'm just going to lift out this screen. But the window shrank, and it's like this dream was fighting me. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to fit through this tiny hole anyway. And I did. I grabbed the frame of the window and I pushed myself up and I kicked my legs through, whoosh, landed on my feet, and I climbed up onto the roof. And with my inorganic being pursuance following me, I looked back at them, bade them a good day, and I stretched my arms out and I looked down, and I was so far up there. I got that little nervousness, that scared feeling like, hey, you are in a dream, right? And I was like, stop that. Stop doubting. You are most certainly in a dream. And although there have been people that have had that sudden onset nighttime death syndrome, SUNDS, SUNS. It has happened. People have literally died of fright, basically, in their nightmares. That thought crossed my mind because I was just reading about that. And I was like, well, that's not going to happen because I'm fully in control and I'm not scared. And although this will tickle the heck out of my tummy, I'm going to soar over the most beautiful fairy tale epic landscape I've ever seen. So I stretched my arms out and I jumped off the building. And at first I dipped. I almost didn't make it back up into the air, but I made it back up and I flew over their perfect lawn. And then I flew over their perfectly landscaped trees. And then the landscape got more and more wild. And then I was flying through oak trees of fall colors and other trees of fall colors. And then just as quickly as the forest thickened, it thinned out to a cliff. And then there was this ocean. And another one of my goals is to be able to go underwater as well as in space. I didn't make it up in space before I woke up, but I made it underwater. And I thought, yes, let's try this out. There's ocean and water right here. Usually I'll just fly over the waves, but this time I dove right in, and I was like, so good to breathe under the ocean. And it was beautiful and thrilling and invigorating and empowering. And I saw sea creatures and turtles and floating seaweed, and there was coral. And one of my favorite things about water is the light refractions you see on the bottom. Either, you see it over sand or at the bottom of a pool. I love the way that, like, there's a certain sound to it in my mind. I don't know. There's always been a certain sound to that. So, I'm like hearing this light pattern, and I'm breathing underwater, and then I pop up out of the water in this other landscape, and I'm so full of love and light in this dream. And then I wake up. Despite my efforts to stay asleep, I wake up and I just have the biggest smile on my face. It was so wonderful. It was so wonderful. And that's pretty much it. Well, that's not it, because I woke up in real waking life, went to the bathroom, went back to bed, and I went right back into that dream. That's been a theme for the last 3 nights. I keep going back into dreams. It's very rare, for me at least, and I don't know why it has been happening, but those same characters were there, and the corpse bride that had been my friend. And I was like, I told you before, I'm just not in the mood to fight with you guys, so thanks, but no thanks. And I shooed them away. And then I was in the same landscape, near the same park that I was at in my last 2 dreams during the last 2 days. And there was a grange, that's what it was. There was this like local grange where there's usually flea markets or fundraising events, community events are hosted. And this was one such occasion. There was lots of little old ladies making soup for everyone for this fundraiser, and my sisters were there, and I had a blonde bob wig, and I had bandages all over my face, and I was like, huh, this is a weird dream. And I decided that it was a boring dream, and I thought, well, just before I leave, maybe they're trying to freak me out with these bandages, because there was little spots of blood everywhere. And I thought, have they tried to take away my face? I'm not scared at all. Let's go find a mirror. And just like tripping, a lot of times in dreams, you don't want to look at yourself in a mirror. Because that's often where, come here, kitty. That's often where there will be something you don't want to see, like your teeth falling out or your skin falling off, something weird happening. And what are you doing? And so I was conscious of this stuff, but I was so calm and still fully lucid. Like I said, this was the longest I've ever been lucid in dreams before. And I found a mirror, and I looked at my face, waiting for it to change, waiting for my teeth to fall out. And I thought, huh, interesting. You guys haven't gotten me yet. And so I peeled these band-aids off, and I was like, wow, that actually hurts surprisingly intensely for this being a dream. It felt like, have you ever used those pore strips? It felt like one of those. It fucking hurt. So I peeled it off. To my surprise, there was a face under there. And I took my wig off, and I was under there, and I went, huh. And I threw these things into the sink, and I heard my sister call me. She was, the bathroom was right by the entrance to this building, and her and my my sister and my other sister were waiting for me in a car, because apparently we were on a road trip, and we had just stopped by at this place to check out the flea market and just see what was happening. And I thought, oh, interesting. Okay, coming, sisters. And then I walked out the door, which was made of light at that point, and I just walked into this burst of light, and then I woke up. Whoa. It was really neat. It was really, really neat. I feel really triumphant, and this dream work really paid off. I was 100% lucid during the entire dream for the first time ever. And if you've been working on lucid dreaming and you can't quite get there, I've been doing daily dream journaling here and on Instagram for at least 12 months. It takes time, and it takes consistent practice. There is no magic pill. There is no magic word or practice or dream check. People might tell you that all you have to do is look at your hands and you'll realize you're dreaming, or all you have to do is try to use a light switch and you know you're dreaming, or try to read something, or this or that. Those don't work for everybody, and they also don't work 100% of the time. I can read and write in my dreams just as I can right now. And light switches work, and everything works just fine in my dreams. So those dream checks do not work for me. So just, you got to find what works for you specifically, and just keep practicing. Keep practicing, because it can happen. I went from not remembering any of my dreams. Maybe a couple times a month I would remember a very intense or specific dream. And now I am remembering, on average, 3 to 7 dreams a night. So, and it's pretty great. All right. As always, I would love it if you would DM me your dreams. If you're watching this on Instagram, or if you're watching this on YouTube, use the comment section below as your dream journal, because I don't check my messages on YouTube. And I'd really love to hear your dream, or if you've got dream tips or what have you, or if you would like dream coaching, comment. I'm super stoked. I got the power.